The overnight bag hit the wooden steps of Grandpa Arthur's porch with a dull thud, my fingers trembling so hard that the doorbell button felt slippery under my touch. Papers from the hastily assembled medical folder scattered across the driveway, insurance cards, lists of medications, notes from frantic calls, all caught by the cool autumn breeze swirling around the quiet suburban home outside Seattle. My lungs burned from the sprint up the walkway after ditching the rental car halfway in the drive. Mom's panicked voice still rang in my ears from the call an hour earlier. "Willow. Honey. It's your father on the line. We think Grandpa Arthur suffered a stroke. You have to come right away." The heavy oak door swung inward. And there he stood, Grandpa Arthur. Silver hair neatly combed. Favorite navy cardigan draped over his shoulders. Steaming mug of coffee in one hand. His bushy eyebrows lifted in genuine surprise. "Willow, what on earth brings you all the way from Denver?" "Kiddo." My knees nearly gave out. "Grandpa, you're okay?" Mom said, stroke. That it was serious. I dropped everything, canceled the big investor pitch. Grabbed the first flight out. He set the mug on the side table. Forehead creasing with confusion. "Stroke? I'm fit as a fiddle. Haven't even spoken to your mother in days."
"Come inside."
"You're pale as a ghost." I stumbled into the familiar foyer, heart pounding against my ribs like it wanted to escape. The scent of old books and faint pine cleaner wrapped around me. But nothing felt comforting right now. Pulling out my phone with shaky hands, I opened Instagram. There it was, posted just 2 hours ago.
Mom. Dad.
And my younger brother Jackson on a pristine beach in Cabo San Lucas. Margaritas raised high in a sunny toast, waves lapping at their feet. The caption read something about family time and relaxation. Location tag confirmed Mexico. I turned the screen toward Grandpa. His expression shifted from confusion to dawning realization as he studied the image. "They told me you were swamped with work meetings all week. Couldn't make it," he murmured quietly. "Said you sent your regrets." The punch of betrayal landed square in my gut, knocking the breath from me. They had lied to both of us. At 32, I'd poured years into double shifts waitressing to fund college and my MBA, while my parents covered every penny of Jackson's tuition without question. The same brother who barely worked until they handed him a cushy role at Reyes Retreats. The boutique hotel empire Grandpa Arthur had built from a single roadside motel 50 years ago. Just 3 months back, my parents had promised me the reins of the new Seattle flagship property, a role I'd earned through late nights, proven results, and unwavering loyalty to the family business. 2 weeks before opening, they pulled the plug quietly, installing Jackson instead. "He has the right personality for hospitality," Dad had explained casually, as if my decade of experience counted for nothing. My hands steadied as fury overtook the initial shock. I dialed Mom, switching to speaker. Laughter and ocean waves filtered through on the 5th ring. "I'm here with Grandpa," I said, voice level despite the storm inside. "He's perfectly healthy. No stroke." A beat of silence. "Oh, dear. I must have mixed up what your father told me. These things happen, sweetie." Mixed up? I pulled up the Cabo photos again. "How's the weather in Mexico this season?" Longer pause this time. Waves crashed in the background. "You're overreacting. Willow. We tried inviting you, but you were always buried in work." Interesting, since no invitation ever reached me. "And you told Grandpa I was too busy to visit him." Willow. Honestly, these little mix-ups wouldn't occur if you'd stay more connected instead of obsessing over the business. Grandpa gestured for the phone, his jaw set firm. I handed it over. "Elena," he said, tone sharper than I'd heard in years. This wasn't a mix-up. It was deliberate deceit. He ended the call abruptly and passed the phone back. "They've played this game for years. Willow, keeping us isolated from each other, he said, leading me into his sun-drenched study lined with leather-bound volumes. Cutting me out of major decisions, even though I founded the company. Just like they've sidelined you for Jackson. My stomach knotted tighter. But you're still majority shareholder on paper. He eased into his leather armchair and opened a desk drawer. On paper.
Yes.
But they've maneuvered behind our backs. Yours and mine. The truth hit like a cold wave. All those late office nights, business trips, personal sacrifices for respect and advancement, they never saw me as equal. I sank into the opposite chair, realizing Grandpa was my sole true ally in a family that had quietly written me off. What now? I whispered. A faint smile tugged at his lips. We fight back. I trailed Grandpa Arthur deeper into the study, the weight of those Cabo images still burning behind my eyes. Sunlight poured through tall windows, casting long shadows across the Persian rug. The air carried hints of aged leather and his signature aftershave. He moved with purpose to the far wall, sliding aside a hidden panel to reveal a wall safe. I've collected proof for months, he said, dialing the combination with practiced ease. Never imagined using it against my own son. The safe door clicked open. He retrieved a thick manila envelope marked confidential in bold red. Placing it on the mahogany desk, his voice caught slightly. You'd better sit for this one, Willow. My pulse quickened as I opened the folder. Bank records, trust withdrawals, internal memos spilled out. Numbers blurred at first, then sharpened into devastating clarity. This can't be. I traced a line of transactions. Over $2 million systematically pulled from my trust fund. Grandpa's jaw tightened. To bankroll Jackson's extravagances, the Aspen ski condo, yacht club dues, fake consulting gigs that produced zero results. My legs buckled. I dropped into the chair as the room tilted. A document detailed a $190,000 payout to a firm handling traffic cases. Jackson's DUI crash last year, Grandpa explained grimly. The one officially never happened. A pedestrian was hurt badly. Your parents used your money to bury it. Nausea rose. But I kept reading. Drafts transferring full ownership of Reyes Retreats to Jackson after Grandpa's passing. Another $2 million inheritance slice they planned to siphon from me. I need to call Diana, I said. Voice hoarse. Dialing my cousin, the only lawyer I trusted implicitly. She answered quickly. Speaker on. Documents fanned across the desk for her video view. Grandpa rested a steady hand on my shoulder. Diana's professional tone cut through. These show clear patterns of fraud. Dates line up with board meetings where you were conveniently dispatched to remote sites. She zoomed on a Cayman Islands transfer. This exceeds favoritism. Willow. It's breach of fiduciary duty. Outright theft. Grandpa slid over another set. Diana inhaled sharply. Competency proceedings? They were preparing to declare you mentally unfit. Arthur. His face paled, knuckles whitened on the desk edge. My own son. Diana's voice hardened further. Tax evasion schemes? Hidden offshore holdings? Altered minutes. They aimed to strip everything from you both. The crushing realization settled. My entire adult life, double shifts funding my education. Skipped holidays. Blind loyalty, rested on deception. If they succeed, you lose it all, Diana said bluntly. The drained trust, your company's stake, future inheritance. Remember that New York executive offer you declined for family loyalty? 6 figures plus equity. Grandpa added quietly. Financial devastation for you. While Jackson reaps my life's work. Diana softened. Fighting means they may sever all ties. This isn't just dollars, it's the last threads of family. I laughed bitterly. What family? The ones who lied my whole life. Grandpa looked every one of his 76 years as he rubbed his chest. My heart's not perfect, early issues. Manageable but real. You need someone reliable. He produced papers naming me healthcare proxy and financial power of attorney. My hand stayed steady signing each line, claiming a small win amid ruin. Responsibility settled heavily, not only for myself, but for the man who built what my parents sought to plunder. Should I storm them immediately, or build silently for surprise? The temptation of their shocked faces battled strategic patience. A week later, the Paramount Hotel ballroom sparkled with crystal and fake smiles. I lingered by a fern, watching parents beam as photographers captured Jackson's announcement as new CEO of Reyes Retreats. His polished grin never slipped while reciting lines about fresh vision and bold direction. A former colleague spotted me, then froze. Thought you'd already left the firm. I kept my face neutral, just shifting focus. She glanced nervously at my parents before excusing herself. This repeated several times before I slipped out a side door. Next morning, my bank pinged. Sedona property from my inheritance sold without consent. Jackson listed as agent. Family attorney went to voicemail. Company legal suspended my access, citing transition. Jackson appeared on local business news, claiming the firm needed rescue from prior mismanagement. 10 years of 60-hour weeks dismissed in one smooth sentence. My apartment transformed into isolation. Company email locked me out with a new password. Nights blurred into calculating losses and replaying overlooked red flags. The dining table became my command center, financial printouts everywhere. Legal text stacked high beside Grandpa's founding documents. I mapped timelines of suspicious moves and hidden transfers. Patterns of calculated deceit emerged spanning years. A knock came unexpectedly one Wednesday evening. Margaret, our longtime housekeeper of 20 years, stood in the hall, voice low. Miss Willow, something's very wrong. Your grandfather always said silence makes us accomplices. She pressed a small key into my palm, access to Dad's private study. Opportunity arrived 3 nights later at a family dinner for appearances. While Mom guided guests through renovations, I slipped away. The key turned silently. Inside, I photographed forged transfer authorizations, backdated minutes, amended trusts with dubious witnesses. 15 minutes in, the door flew open. Dad loomed, face thunderous. What do you think you're doing? The same tone from childhood scoldings. I snapped another photo of a damning memo. Uncovering the truth you've hidden from me forever. He advanced. Get out before I call security.
Reaching for my arm.
I raised the phone displaying captured images. Already have what I need. Fear flashed across his face. Paternal mask cracking. For the first time, his disapproval held no power. You've always underestimated me, I said softly. Biggest mistake you made. That night, Diana's apartment turned war room. Documents covered surfaces as she drafted filings. No fee, she insisted. Repaying how they treated my side of the family. Grandpa arrived with original formation papers thought lost in a supposed office fire. Margaret called with more hideout locations, garden shed under flooring. This alliance of the overlooked stood by me through shared principles. Not blood. Contrast to my parents' manipulations sharpened, painfully clear. In Diana's kitchen. Strategy finalized. Original contract held a fraud revocation clause. FBI's probing Jackson's crash too, Diana added. Bribery evidence mounting. Next morning, I strode through Reyes Retreats headquarters glass doors. Receptionist's eyes widened. 4 FBI agents followed silently into the boardroom mid-quarterly meeting. I entered the gleaming mahogany space with spine straight. Stunned faces turned. Mom's glass halted midair. Jackson's smirk faded. Dad, shut up. What is this? Willow, I placed my portfolio down, presenting evidence of serious financial misconduct. Documents passed around steadily. Systematic fraud over 5 years. Page 3, $2.1 million from my trust diverted. Page 7, company money silencing Jackson's accident. Board reactions rippled. Glasses adjusted. Glances exchanged. Dad blustered fabrications. I pressed on, highlighting ethical conduct clause allowing ownership revocation for fraud. FBI agent stepped forward. Independent corroboration on the Aspen incident, including the payout using company funds. Mom pleaded family matter. Chairman overruled. Board distanced visibly. Jackson protested jealousy. Grandpa entered leaning on cane. Presence commanding silence. I built this on integrity. Diana presented share transfer to me. Legally binding. Margaret testified to destroy documents she'd secretly logged. Vote unanimous. Parents and Jackson removed immediately. I stood at the head of the table, the seat Dad occupied moments earlier. Weight felt like earned mantle, not burden. Jackson's confidence shattered. Eyes darting for non-existent allies. Mom's makeup streaked with tears. Dad threatened contesting. FBI blocked exit. Questions on tax evasion. Misappropriation. I announced emergency all-staff meeting for morning transparency and job security. Changes are coming. Dad's desperate text arrived. We need to talk before this escalates. My office. 7 a.m. I deleted but planned to attend. For closure. Not mercy. At 7 sharp. I entered. Space felt diminished. Parents and Jackson looked strained. Dad rigid. Mom red-eyed. Jackson pacing. Sit. Willow. We can explain, Dad said softly. I stayed standing. Heard enough explanations. You're overreacting, Mom dabbed eyes. We always wanted your best. By draining my inheritance? Plotting Grandpa's incompetency declaration. Dad offered compromise, public apology. Shared Seattle control. Drop charges. Scandal destroys what Grandpa built. When unmoved. Threat resurfaced. Your actions suggest you're unfit. Revisit Arthur's evaluation. Old me would have crumbled. Today I smiled. Already briefed major investors, they back me. Testimonials show better morale under new operational control. People thrive without fear. I laid out non-negotiables. Full charges or surrender claims. Repay stolen funds. Decide by 9 o'clock meeting. Grand atrium buzzed with anxious staff. I took the stage. I'm Willow Reyes. As of yesterday, I lead Reyes retreats after proven improprieties by prior leadership. Murmurs spread. First, profit sharing for employees over 1 year. Recognize Margaret Franklin, promoted to executive housekeeper overseeing all properties. Implementing living wages. Applause thundered. Mom's shock evident. Arthur Vernon Scholarship Fund for employees' children. Education transformed my path. Now accessible to our real family. Portraits of parents removed, replaced by photo of Grandpa and me laughing. Post-meeting. Staff approached with ideas. Parents and Jackson lingered near exit. Badges revoked. Settlement rumors spoke of penalties. Possible jail if terms broken. A year on, quarterly profits rose 22%. Board greeted me warmly. Handshakes firm. Publications sought interviews where once I was invisible. After meetings, I chatted with staff, Carmen about her son's applications via the expanded scholarship, now aiding dozens. Housekeeping greeted by name brought genuine smiles. No longer invisible. Industry gala sparkled. Emerald gown replaced muted tones. Announcer called my name for Hotelier of the Year. Applause roared where Jackson once stood. Success isn't possessions, I said steadily. It's integrity's legacy. This belongs to every employee who trusted me. Grandpa beamed from audience. True leadership serves, not inherits. Weeks later at Diana's lakeside gathering, we toasted to chosen family, integrity restored. Grandpa praised my leadership. Margaret relaxed in retirement. Monday, blueprints for employee wellness-centered properties spread across my desk. Assistant delivered courier letter from Jackson, his Seattle restaurant employing second chancers. Crediting my example. Maybe talk someday? I placed it beside Grandpa's youthful photo and my future vision, fairness over favoritism. As I pondered his plea, the delicate line between forgiveness and self-preservation lingered. Can bonds mend after profound betrayal? Or does wisdom lie in honoring good memories while releasing what harms? What would you choose when family lies fracture everything?